Questions about your routine, your free time, your weekend are absolute favourites of Cambridge assessment for the B2 first. In this video, we're going to look at some structures to help you get the best possible marks. Hi everyone, I'm Marcus from B2 English, and in this video we're going to be focusing on part 1 of the Cambridge Assessment B2 First Speaking exam. In this part of the exam, it's called the interview, and here the interlocutor will be asking you questions about your life, your routine, your hobbies, your interests, and so on. There are 4 parts to the speaking exam, but you will receive an overall mark, meaning you're not going to get an individual mark for each part, but you'll get a total of 20 marks for the whole speaking part of the exam. Now, what the examiner is going to be listening for are 4 different areas, and each of these have a maximum of 5 points. So the examiner is going to be listening to your grammar and vocabulary, your pronunciation, your discourse management, and your communicative interaction. Now, the last one won't really feature in part 1 because there is no interaction between you and your partner. That will come later in parts 3 and parts 4. So to help you in part 1, the interview, we're going to be looking at Jester, and Jester is going to be giving his answer to a typical B2 First interview question. And the question is, how do you usually spend your weekend? Now, of course, this question will be different for every one of us. For some people, they might go shopping, go to the mall, watch a movie at the cinema, eat out with friends, or, like me, go for coffee and just watch the world go by. So let's listen to Jester and how he responds to this question, and then later we'll be analysing the structures and the vocabulary that he used so that we can improve our own marks.
Since I'm a student at the moment, my Saturdays and Sundays are taken up by study time, and those days I either review my notes or work on an assignment. If I didn't have those obligations, however, I would probably go to the cinema or hang out with my friends.
That was really, really, really great. His pronunciation was nice and clear, very naturally sounding. He developed his idea and gave an explanation. And the words that he used, he did not repeat any of the vocabulary from the question. And then he also didn't repeat any of the structures from the question as well. In fact, he used some quite complex, higher level structures. In fact, the structures that he used were fantastic. He managed to include the passive voice, adverbs, phrasal verbs, and a second conditional structure. Let's look at the first part again.
Since I'm a student at the moment, my Saturdays and Sundays are taken up by study time.
So here, Jester starts with the conjunction since, and he uses it to introduce a reason for the action that he later mentions. Now, this is a very useful structure. Start with since, then give the reason, and then the action. For example, since I have no money, I'm going to stay at home this weekend. You can also start with the action, I'm going to stay home this weekend since I have no money. Now, both ways sound good. Sadly, this is a true example for me. I have no money. Okay, let's go back to Jester now, and let's look at the rest of his answer.
If I didn't have those obligations, however, I would probably go to the cinema or hang out with my friends.
As Jester is imagining a hypothetical situation, he uses the second conditional structure. For this, we use the conjunction if to introduce the hypothetical situation, in this particular case with the past simple, and then we use would plus a verb to explain the possible result. So here's another example. If I had money, I would go out. If I had money, I would go out. So there you have it. We've taken a really simple, low-level, basic question and we've made it our own by demonstrating to the examiner that we have a higher level grammatical knowledge and knowledge of vocabulary as well through use of synonyms. And of course, now that you know how to give a great answer using a couple of those structures, I'd like you to practice in the comments below. I'd like you to answer the question, how do you usually spend the weekend? Do let us know in the comments below, and I'll be coming around later to have a look at those comments and give you some feedback on those. But remember, it's not a good idea to memorize your answers for the exam. The examiner and the interlocutor will clearly know when you've memorized an answer because it just won't sound very natural. So instead, practice using some particular structures that you can then change according to the question that you get in the exam. And if you are preparing for the B2 first, do have a look at some other videos we have on this channel. And if you like what you see, please do subscribe. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time.